Okay, so this talk is following up on the topic that Venerable Chinny talked about yesterday, which is preparing for death. And I thought I would just share an experience I had last week, which is not remarkable in any way, shape, or form, but it's always impactful when I encounter this. So I thought maybe it would be good to speak about this too. So I spent some time with my sister last week, and of course, when I spend time with my sister, the family dog Annie is there. And of course, Annie is a chocolate lab, and she bounds out and greets everyone with love and affection. And it's the way that we would all like to be greeted by everyone. You know, it's just remarkable. So attachment comes up like crazy. And so, of course, as I'm talking to my sister, I'm looking at Annie, who's supposed to be there forever. And I noticed that she's got more gray hairs, but mostly she looks kind of the same, like she did when we first got her in 2008. Mostly the same, a few more dog wrinkles, but, mostly the same. And so later that day, we went for a walk. Cheryl goes for a walk with her dogs every day out at Crimson Lake. And Annie is part of that whole routine. And so she came along, and for the first time ever on the walk, Annie was lying down a lot. This is just very unusual. So, we noticed that. We got her back in the car. And then Cheryl was telling me that Annie, who eats voraciously, she's kind of like Maitri, she sees food and it's inhaled in moments, wasn't eating her breakfast for the last couple of weeks. And so then I was looking more closely at Annie, and I saw that one side is bulging a bit. So I said to Cheryl, I think I'm going to phone the vet. This just doesn't look right to me. So I phoned the vet, and they were ready to take her in 10 minutes, so we take her in. And Annie's absolutely terrified of the vet, so she trembles so hard that the car shakes. It's very heartbreaking. So we go in, and the vet looks at her and hears the story and takes her temperature. It's okay. The heart rate is okay. And so she says, well, I think we need to do some blood work, and I'll get back to you. So, we take her home after a few minutes, and we get a call that the vet would like to have us back the next day for an ultrasound because the blood work is looking a little bit off, but nothing dramatic. So then I'm really thinking, yeah, I think there's something up here. So we go in the next day, and then we get called into this special room, and it's sort of like being at customs. When you get called to the back room, it's not just a very friendly chat. There's something important that they have to say. So it was worst case scenario. It's a very aggressive tumor that's attached to the spleen, and her time left is unknown. Well, as Buddhist practitioners, we know that. The time of death is unknown, but when you hear it about, your favorite loving pet, it has an impact. So for sure it was impactful to hear that. Then we talked about the options, and Annie's 11. So basically she's at the end of her lab life anyway. I mean, you're going to die of something. So the vet talked about surgery and chemo, and then she gave us the stats on how dogs much younger than Annie don't survive the surgery, let alone the chemo. And so that seemed totally impractical. So then we just talked about how do we do palliative care, and make it all right for her. So we talked about pain medication, and then there's this very interesting herb that helps with clotting. So we've ordered that. It hasn't arrived yet, but it helps with clotting because the way that Annie will die is she'll do a quick bleed, and then that's it. So in thinking about all of this, it's very interesting. I thought I learned this with my parents, but this shows the depth and breadth of my ignorance, that when you're in the presence of someone who's dying, even if it's a dog, time takes on a different thing. The moments are bigger. And what you say and do is more impactful because you know that everything that you say and do in front of someone who's dying, even if it's a dog, has big meaning, So time just changes. And I thought about the things that I've done, in the presence of others. And we're all dying. Venerable Children reminds us about this all the time. We're all dying. I could easily die before Annie. And then, what about the times when I say something unkind? I respond to Venerable Churney in a very curt, short way. Or what about the times where, we think that someone's not looking, but we roll our eyes and grimace. And then we talk about them behind their back, thinking that they don't notice. All the things we do under the influence of karma and afflicted mental states, But it just really sort of rammed it home again in my mind about how we're all in the same boat as Annie, except we know that she's going to go possibly quicker, and how to make life better for her. But why not make life better for everybody? Make every moment an opportunity. And so when we're afflicted and we have our temper tantrum and we say something really mean, or, we flip them the bird, what are we thinking? Well, we're not. We're not. We're just pushed by something, and then there's regret. And then there's a whole lot of time invested in purification, and where we could, instead of doing, well, we have to purify anyway, but, we could be instead just investing our time and effort and making it just a better time for whoever we're in front of. So I thought I learned this before. It's clear that I have to sit on that cushion and think of the death meditation every single day, twice a day, throughout the day. And not succumb. I know I will succumb again and again, but hopefully to catch these moments and at least reduce the impact, or at, worst case scenario, go and apologize. So my sister now is caring for Annie. She's in the best place possible for an animal. She's in the best place possible for more people, compared to most people on the planet. She's in a very beautiful situation, and she'll go out probably just knowing she's loved. And hopefully, I don't know if dogs know that they're dying. Maybe they do, but at least she'll know that she's cherished, which is what we'd all want to have in our mind when we're going to. So let's take the opportunity to reflect on the meditation of death and impermanence and realize that we're all in the same boat as Annie. Right. So things we can do for our pets as they're ending their life. It's very good to say mantras out loud to them, because not only the pet who's dying will benefit, everyone in the room will benefit. There's other beings we can't see. There's insects. To remind the pet of their good qualities. I mean, that's reasonable, right? For anyone. To thank them, to rejoice in their good qualities and kindness. Animals, as they're lying there, it can be videos, it can be audio, talks, photos. We did that with the cats, and it seemed to very much benefit their minds. Buddha images.
Anyway, yeah, when Achi was dying, then we sat around, and whenever he would have like a seizure or something, or he would appear afraid, we'd say, that's just an appearance, relax, you don't need to react to it. Just calm your mind, go forward with your good heart. I mean, we just talked to him, and it seemed to help.